What is the projection, presuming that you don't get into a car accident at some point? What is the projection of your age, your potential longevity?
Yeah, I mean, people are a familiar frame of reference would be what is the return of investment on this company? And investors typically want like a 3x return or a 5x return or a 10x return will be out of the park. Think about that on lifespan. If you can be around for the future of these technologies coming, your return on life investment could be 5x, 10x, 100x, 1000x. No one knows. You could have a massive return in life. And so the goal is be around. It's worth doing the hard work right now to dramatically slow your speed of aging. What I've been trying to do with Blueprint is when people talk about aging, it's always this, oh, it's coming and oh, it's exciting. And wouldn't it be amazing if? But no one had, in my estimation, said, okay, let's take all of the current scientific evidence. Let's put it in one person and let's see where we're at. Let's just give it a go. Let's see what the data says. Is the fountain of youth here right now? If not, how close, how far, where are we at? And that's what I've been trying to do is to say, actually, you know what? It's it's pretty compelling what's available right now.
Are you familiar with the concept of longevity escape velocity?
I am.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're kind of referring to that, basically, that the longer that you stick about, the better the technology will be down the line, which means that it will be able to extend your life longer. And if there is a point at which the technology is able to bypass or the technology gets stronger than the rate at which we age, you go, okay, well, my point is to stick about until that, and that would be longevity escape velocity. So I've had a ton of people on the show talking about longevity, health, and fitness, and it seems that the conception, the overarching principles aren't necessarily as universal, especially when we add your approach into the mix. What is the overarching principles that guide your approach for longevity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has been a fun learning for me. You can have 4 anti-aging scientists read the same 5 papers and then ask them to design an anti-aging protocol, and you'll get 5 different anti-aging protocols. There's just no agreement, and there's not a way of settling the agreement. And that's why I've endeavored to do this is I do it and then I share my data. And yes, there's limitations of it's N of 1, but it's better than N of 0.
Okay. Given your markers, given what you have learned, what does the framework look like? Or what are the principles and the longest levers that you're looking at?
It's a process of measuring extensively. I think I'm potentially the most measured human in all of history. Then it's taking that data and it's trying to assess the very best evidence. Now that's an art, because again, you can have scientists look at the same data and they come away with different conclusions. So it's looking at the evidence, then it's implementing the protocol in a subject like myself, where I'm trying to be perfect in protocol adherence, and then it's repeating data, evidence, protocol, and do it again and again and again.
Why are you vegan? What's the thinking behind that?
By choice. So Blueprint does not express opinions about anything. It doesn't say whether veganism is good or bad or meat is good or bad. It just is a process to say measurement, evidence, protocol. And so I basically just asked my team, is it possible for us to do a vegan protocol and be within the targets of the optimal clinical outcome ranges? So the only exception is I take collagen peptides. I'm trying to find a vegan source for that. But yeah, it's a preference, not a necessity.
Why do you prefer it?
Because I would like to, I hope that a scaling law of technology, that the more intelligent a system gets, the more compassion that it has.
So this is an ethical veganism substrate, a little foundation that you're playing on top of reducing animal suffering, I'm going to guess.
It's a contemplation that The problem that humanity, the only problem we have to solve as a species really is goal alignment. We have these godlike powers now. We just simply need to figure out, not simply, we need to figure out how to cooperate. And that means not just humans, but humans and planet Earth and humans and AI, like trillions and trillions and trillions of agents of intelligence, whether they're cells or whether they're bots or whether it's plants or whatever it is. We have this gigantic tapestry of computational goal alignment. And it's a problem of a size and scale that just baffles the mind. It so far exceeds anything we're capable of. And so when I think about the real game we're playing here, at the largest possible scale of this mathematical model, I hope that we trend towards compassion. Because while we are alpha on this planet right now, I don't think we're alpha anymore. And I think that we are going to want the attribute of compassion to exist in this broad tapestry of intelligence.
Would it potentially be easier, simpler, more efficient, more effective for you to add animal products in? Have you ever considered trying to do that? Is there a point in the future at which you'll say, let's do a 6-month test where fish comes in or seafood comes in or red meat comes in?
Yeah. I've shared everything. I've shared the entire blueprint protocol so people can do it and they can share their data. I personally don't want to do it.
Right. I understand. In order to get the nutrients that you need without touching on animal products, I imagine that that's a very large amount of vegetables that you need to eat.
I mean, I don't know large. I mean, if you just look at the evidence and you say, I'm trying to goal align 35 trillion cells that make up me, and the objective function is to reduce entropy. So I'm running this massive computational model with 35 trillion cells on goal alignment with myself. And I'm basically saying, can everything inside of me try to go after one goal, which is less entropy? And we're looking at all the evidence, we're looking at all the different data, but to me, it's a really interesting quandary because we think about goal alignment and cooperation of, can we get AI to align with 8 billion humans? Can we get 160 some odd nation states to cooperate on planet Earth? Like, we're always thinking about these big cooperation problems, but the cooperation problem, the goal alignment problem, almost never is asked of each one of us. We get to always point our finger at everyone else and blame everyone else and ask everyone else to align their goals with ours. We're not being asked to do the tough work to say, hey, you know what? Inside of each of one of us is an absolute war. It's a balkanized war with our various selves. And so to me, the mastery of self is the ultimate challenge for anyone to go after. It's harder than going to the moon. It's harder than going to Mars. And that's, I think, where if we're going to succeed as a species, that's the hard work we need to do.
We do not have complete control over ourselves, though, right? We don't even know what ourselves are. We are self-deceptive. We often have contradictory and destructive behaviors and desires that we want to engage in. And how do we know? We don't have a metric that says, I want a relationship, but I also want to be good at business, but I also want status, but I also want to have fun with my friends, but I also want to sleep well, and I also want to be healthy. For us to be able to pull all of these together is challenging. And I want to get onto self-destructive behaviors, but before we even get to that, how can someone work out what it is that they want in life?
Yeah. So if this is fun talking to you. This is the exact problem I've been trying to solve. And this is why I say the mind is dead. So when I approached this problem with myself, the difficulty I had was I myself was out of control. I would overeat. I would engage in all kinds of self-destructive behaviors. I was 50 pounds heavier than my healthy weight. I was marching myself into the grave, and I couldn't stop myself no matter what. And so that was like the personal problem I was trying to solve, which then mapped to like some other ambitions I had. But when I look at myself and I'm trying to distill those kinds of questions, like who am I? What do I want? What are my goals? There's thousands of Bryans chiming in. Like right now, it's 10:30 a.m. Bryan speaking. 5:30 p.m. is going to have a different. Bryan's going to have a different answer. Saturday, Bryan's going to have a different answer. With friends, Bryan's going to have a different answer. Like there's thousands of different ways I'm going to answer it based upon my biochemical state. I trust none of them. And that's why, I don't know how to tackle this complexity. So what I said is like, what is the most basic and simplest possible thing I could do that would actually wrestle my chaos into some order and, try to eliminate the unruliness of my existence. And that's what Blueprint has done. And that's why I follow the algorithm. It's freed me from this insanity, which used to be me.
But you had to make a value judgment at some point, right? You had to say that the goal that I'm going for isn't to maximize status. It's not even within the world of health and fitness to maximize muscle mass, to compete in a bodybuilding show, to maximize my endurance or my HRV or my VO2 max or whatever it might be. There was a point at which you had to go through a process of stepping back and saying, what do I want to want?
Yeah.
That was the first step. That had to be the first step.
Yeah. Yeah. And step number 1, don't die. Stay alive.
Well, that's the problem with alignment, right? That's the concern that everybody has as soon as you get a self-aware, recurrent improvement, AGI. What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.